Hello lovelies, I'm Roshana Sunrise, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can live your best soft life. I want to live a soft life, the soft life chose me, don't let life make you hard. These are all sayings that we hear nowadays on different social medias and people saying they want to live that soft life, they don't want to do the hard stuff anymore, we're done with the struggle. We just want to have a nice, chill, cozy, smooth, easy life. It goes without saying that not everything in life is going to be easy. It's not possible to just avoid things going wrong or avoid difficult situations. That's life. There's always going to be things that are tough. And I don't feel it's beneficial to try and avoid things like that completely. However, I do see real value in this whole soft life way of living. Well, inside, I'm such a softie. I'm a highly sensitive person, so I'm very in tune with everything. I feel lots, I feel deeply, and I feel strongly. However, there were definitely several years where I was very hard on myself. I would really push myself in a way that probably you'd look at it now and say you're being way too hard on yourself. I often heard that from people around me, but I didn't really take it in. I really wanted to achieve so many things and I would push myself so hard to try and achieve goals. And there was always something that I felt that I was doing wrong, and I really did live in this kind of struggle place for quite a while, if I'm honest. Being someone that is naturally a hard worker and having always been drawn to self-development, self-improvement and things like this, I really did get sucked in for a while to this mentality that, you know, you really had to push yourself and deny yourself things, and I'd be really hard on myself if I didn't meet the standards that I'd set for myself, which were extremely high. This also meant that I relied on myself heavily to do everything for myself, and if I couldn't figure something out, I really would rarely ask for help. And I would kind of keep forcing myself through situations that were very, very difficult, and that with hindsight really weren't situations that I needed to be pushing myself into at all. At some point you have to draw a line between going out of your comfort zone versus being in a really uncomfortable situation that your body's giving you signals for that you're not listening to. And this idea that you are always the one to blame, or you're the one that, oh, if you just tried harder, if you just changed this, if you just dealt with it, then it wouldn't be an issue. There is this kind of mentality of you're the problem. Again, that's another distinction between taking responsibility and being accountable versus blaming yourself and telling yourself that you're the reason that everything is difficult or wrong. I can go into this more another time. I've got lots of stories about from this time, which I guess is one thing that I gained from this, but ultimately I did decide that enough is enough. I need to change things because this is not sustainable. So there was this moment where I really felt like I needed to do things differently, and it was a very clear decision that I made that I'm going to be kinder to myself. I'm going to let go of a lot of things, and essentially I decided to live a softer life. I can honestly say that since doing this, I'm so much happier, so much more relaxed, and actually I'm able to work towards the goals that I have with a lot more ease. I do find it interesting that self-care is much more widely recognised as a really positive addition to your life now and something to incorporate. And yet, at the same time, there's also this trend of harshness that almost glorifies pain and the struggle. It's that hustle culture and sleep when you're dead, that 5 a.m. club, which I have to say that I am often a part of in the summer, but it's really this sort of punishing mentality where it's sort of seen that if you want to achieve something, if you want to get your goals, if you want to be motivated, then you have to be really hard on yourself and give yourself lots of critique and negative self-talk. To this, I would argue that life is about how you live it in the everyday. It's not just about these far between goals that you can reach, these moments that essentially last for a split second and then pass. I feel that life is really about the everyday, what happens actually from morning to night, in between that time, how it feels for you. I found that when I started to live a softer life, I actually was able to work towards my goals with a lot more joy and be a lot more present with everything that I was doing to achieve those goals. And because of that, the work that I was producing was a lot higher quality than had I been totally frazzled and stressed out and not quite focused on what I was doing because I was so thinking about the end goal. So it doesn't mean that you can't work hard. It doesn't mean that you can't push yourself and challenge yourself and go out of your comfort zone. It just means that having a softer, kinder, more gentle approach, you might just appreciate more of the time that you're spending rather than just the outcome. So now that hopefully you have more of an understanding of what the soft life is and what it could mean for you and your wellness, I want to talk about how you can go about achieving this. Firstly, I would think about the overall flow of your day and how it feels to you. So from morning to night and everything in between, how does it feel? How do you move? How do you interact with people? How do you interact with the things in your life, the things that you have to do? When you wake up, do you feel refreshed and energized and calm and maybe looking forward to some things in the day? Or do you feel anxious or groggy or like you don't want to get out of bed? What is the initial feeling when you first open your eyes in the morning? And then how does that affect how you move through your day? Do you get up and go straight into work or rush out the door or feel straight into sort of a panic of, I need to do things? Are you straight into your phone and looking on social media? Are you straight looking at emails? How do you take your breakfast? Do you even have breakfast? What's your journey to work like? If you work from home, do you get ready for your day or do you just go put on a clean top and sort of pull back your hair and then that be it? How do you eat your lunch? Do you eat lunch at your desk? Do you look on your phone while you're eating? Or do you sit and be present with your meal? How is it that you get ready for an evening out? Is it a pleasant experience, something enjoyable? Or is it a bit of a panic? I don't know what to wear. If you find that you are often rushing around, often a bit on edge, then I would definitely recommend thinking about how you can improve the flow of your day. So that might be something as simple as implementing a morning routine. It needn't be long, 15-20 minutes as an addition to the start of your day, or planning what healthy meals you're going to eat in the week and having it ready as a go-to so you know exactly how to do it and how to prepare it. I myself know that I don't like to spend lots of time cooking lunch in the middle of the day as it slows me down, so I have go-to healthy meals that I can whip up in about 15 minutes. Following on from this point, I would say that a really important thing is to slow down. You don't need to be going at 100 miles an hour all the time. You can afford to be more present, to take things one thing at a time, to not multitask as much. It is possible to do this, and in order for you to do this, you need to be able to tell yourself it's okay to slow down, it's okay to be slower, and that it is possible to get everything done with a calm approach. Why it's important to reassure yourself is that so many people are used to being on this high alert, high energy, always doing something, going from one thing to the next. And when you do that, your nervous system will likely be on edge, which is just not good for your overall health. So it is important to reassure yourself and say, it's okay. It's okay to slow down. We can take this a little slower today. Even if it's not possible to do this throughout the whole of your day, as I know that schedules can be extremely busy and jam-packed, it might be possible to slow down at least in the morning and the evening, the time when you're by yourself or with your partner, and that you don't actually have to be anywhere at that moment in time. Slowing down will definitely allow you to feel more calm and your days to feel a lot softer. In that same breath, in order to slow down without letting things slide or fall away, it will be necessary for you to decide to let some things go from your schedule. You may have to start saying no to some things. You may have to start shortening some things. Perhaps when you would normally spend 4 hours socializing, maybe cut that down to 3 so you can have some time by yourself in the evening to unwind before bed. Perhaps you can't do everything that you want to do for other people. Maybe even one of the biggest things is to let go of the expectations of yourself that you can do it all or that you should be doing more. It might just be the case that your plate is already full and that is the reason that you're constantly stressed out. I know there's responsibilities that you have to keep. and it's not always possible to have as much time for yourself as you might like. But there may be some small things that you can do to make your time easier. For example, if you're used to cooking a really elaborate dinner every day, or you might spend, an hour making your meal, you can probably cut that down by at least half. And you may just have to accept that you're doing a bit less and that maybe it won't be as fresh as it possibly could be, but that the time saved will be worth it for you in the long run. I can really relate to this because I am someone that always wants to be on the go, that I am so busy and I like the busyness. I actually enjoy it. But the thing with that is that often leads to burnout. And if it leads to a serious burnout, then you could be putting yourself out of action for a lot longer. So it's just not worth it. The next thing that I would suggest for living a soft life is wearing soft materials. It's literally as simple as that. Wear things that feel good on your skin, that feel light, that don't feel rigid or that you're restricted in. I like to wear very comfortable clothing that just feels good to wear. It's just one less thing to think about. If you're wearing something uncomfortable, then your mind is probably going to, oh, this waistband's a bit tight, it feels restrictive, or I've got a bit of pain somewhere from something I'm wearing. I just think it's so important to be comfortable in what you're wearing, as it's one less thing for you to think about. So when you do go shopping, as well as looking at the design, I would also look at the feel of the items that you're buying. My next top tip on how to live a soft life is simply to do things nicely. Do nice things for yourself and do them nicely. So think about the times when you'll be the most relaxed, the most chilled out, the most zen. It might be at a spa or a retreat or somewhere where you get to be pampered and looked after, where there's low lighting, there's nice scents, everything's clean and tidy. That's the vibe that makes you feel like, yes, I like it here. So while it's always an option to go to a spa, get a massage, go on a retreat or something like that, it may not always be financially viable. And I also feel that if you like it so much, then you should bring that into your life than always going out for it. So that means keeping your space clean and tidy. That means getting rid of clutter, things that you don't need. That means if you don't normally moisturize, well, first off, start moisturizing, but also in the evening, take some time and really focus on how you're rubbing in the cream. Be more caring towards yourself. Touch yourself gently rather than harshly. I often see people rubbing their eyes when they're really tired or pulling their face or something like that. And I just think, don't touch yourself like that. There's no need, and it's a simple thing that you can just switch. That's your mannerisms, your habits, and it would just feel nicer for you. Be a bit more gentle, be a bit kind. If you normally eat your dinner not really paying attention or watching a show, perhaps one evening a week you can make a real thing of it, light some candles, put on the ambient music, eat at the table, slow down, enjoy it, have sophisticated conversation. And that's another way of bringing in this softness to your life. And it's something that's really easy to do. It needn't be expensive candles. It doesn't take much organization. It's just little things like this that you can do to bring that softness in. Often it's not about what you do, it's more about how you do it. The next point that I would say to start living this soft life is starting to develop self-compassion. As I mentioned earlier, I used to be so critical of myself and super hard on myself, and it just didn't really get me anywhere. So if you are able to notice intrusive thoughts coming in, if you're aware that sometimes you can be mean to yourself or say negative things towards yourself, in that moment, you have the choice to flip the script and say something kind to yourself. If you feel like you're living with a tormentor sometimes, that you can be really nasty to yourself, firstly, I would question how helpful this is. Actually, does it get you further to where you want to be? Or even if it does, is there a way that you could go about it where you're actually encouraging yourself, picking yourself up, cheering yourself on, rather than beating yourself down? So introducing self-kindness is the first part of self-compassion. Say you do something wrong. Say you say something you don't mean, or you do something wrong at work, or you fail at something. You might have the habit of going into blaming yourself, which, yeah, of course, we're all responsible for our actions, but there's also a chance for you to say, you're human, I get it. We all make mistakes, we're all fallible, we all fail sometimes, and I'm gonna do my best to try better next time and not make that mistake again. It wasn't so hard, is it? It's not so crazy, it's not so revolutionary, but it's something that we don't often think to do. We can so quickly go into the blame game without taking a second to consider another approach. What will really help to build this self-compassion is to practice mindfulness. So I definitely recommend incorporating meditation into your day, perhaps 5 minutes at the start of the day just to start off. And that will really help you to catch these thoughts when they're coming in order to flip the script and start speaking to yourself more positively. On this same point of choosing our thoughts and words towards ourselves, I think a really helpful thing to start living your best soft life is to pick a phrase or mantra or something to live by, at least for a month or so, see how it feels for you. So for me, I very much just started saying spontaneously, I do not do stress. I don't do it. I don't do stress. Stress ain't for me. Don't know who that's for. It's not for me. And that doesn't mean that difficult things don't happen. It doesn't mean that I don't have challenges. It doesn't mean that things are upsetting. It doesn't also mean that I never, ever, ever stress. It just means that when I start noticing that I might start stressing, getting a bit heightened about things, I just say, I don't do stress. And I'm able then to look at the problem head on and tackle it calmly with focus and then move past it. It's not always as simple as that, I understand. I wouldn't be a holistic wellness coach otherwise. But by starting to decide for yourself what is and isn't for you, you start to have more control over your reactions to things, and that decides how your life feels for you. So that is why I say I don't do stress, but you can pick something for you that feels right. This is not an exhaustive list of everything that is involved with living a soft life, but I really think that if you're able to incorporate at least 2 or 3 of these things, you'll see a massive difference in the way that your daily life feels. And the reason that is so important is that a soft life allows you to be more present with everything that you're doing. It allows you to enjoy your daily, simple little things, which is so underrated. And essentially, you'll start to do things in a way that feels good for you. I wanted to leave you with a poem that I found by a woman called Elizabeth Pfeffer. I'm soft because I understand the hardness of others. I'm sensitive because nothing is sadder than those who cannot feel. I'm gentle because I've seen how the rough can break. I thought that summed up the meaning behind living a soft life in a really beautiful way. If this soft life appeals to you and you would like to go more into depth into your lifestyle, then head to my website, roshanasunrise.com, where you can book one-to-one training with me, or you can buy my Holistic Wellness 101 course. This is filmed in advance, so I don't know how many promo codes there are left, but the first 50 YouTube visitors that want to buy something from my website will get a 30% discount, and that is using the code RSU30. So that is RSYOU30. Please do subscribe to my channel, leave a comment if there's anything you want to see or anything you particularly liked about this video, and press the bell icon to get notified for my next video. Thank you so much for watching and wishing you a wonderful week. Remember, love is the answer, compassion is the key.